Hi, I'm the Gadget Guru Andy Parr, and this is thevog.net. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to get an independent comparison between two bikes. This Harley right here and the Victory Vision. How we're going to do this is that there's a friend of mine in town, and his name's Dwayne. He's visiting me from Houston. Dwayne is a seasoned rider. I've ridden with him on cross-country trips. He's a real iron butt. He'll do 1,000 miles in a day, but he rides a Goldwing. He's never ridden one of these Harleys, nor has he ridden the Vision. Today he's going to ride both, and we're going to get a complete independent comparison of both the bikes from the perspective of a Goldwing rider. Our adventure started at the Harley Davidson dealership in West Palm Beach, where we rented a bike. This is a great service. It's not provided by a lot of brands, but Harley is definitely the leader in this field.
This is a 2008 FLHTC, which is an electric glide classic. The Ultra would have rear speakers, that's our top model, and lower leg fairings. This has everything but those two features, which makes it probably about $1,000 less. We have 3 of these in a lineup for rentals, and very sought after. People love these bikes because they're great for touring. Once I turn this on, we have an engine light, security light, neutral light, oil lights popping up.
Okay.
It's a 6-gallon tank. You have 207 miles before you're going to need to hit reserve. So we'll ride on trip A. You have your fuel, miles per hour, your tack, voltage, and oil, and ambient air temperature. You do have cruise, set, and resume. And you have to have this on. Of course, once you touch your brakes, you downshift, takes it off the cruise. Left turn signal, okay? If you need hazards, something happens, you press them both and hold them. Okay, we've got hazards going. Of course, we don't want to run the battery down, we turn it off. Now we're running just hazards.
Okay.
Turn it back on, though, to hold them and turn it off. That noise you're hearing is the fuel pump, it's priming it up. Horn. I say horn so it doesn't scare everybody. High beam. Indicator light right there.
Yep.
Now high beam in the front here, if you'll notice, when I hit the high beam it turns off your passing lamps because there's so much light. Turn it back on, there's your low. So you can kind of give somebody a flash if you want to, high beam, low beam. But like I said, I would run as much light as you can out here. Turn it on and off here. Use that more of an emergency. Start. Right turn signal, it's on the right. I don't know if your bike's like that or not, but you can leave it on here. As we're sitting here, it will stay on all day. But if you're moving, it will self-cancel, or you can press it. It's a 6-speed. It's 1 down, 5 up. You need to be at 70 miles an hour before you hit 6th gear.
Okay. Is the 6th gear in overdrive?
It is an overdrive, that's correct. That's pretty much it. On any questions on anything, have you ever used a heel-toe shifter before?
No.
Okay, I'll show you how this works.
Toe shifter.
It's a heel-toe shifter, which is nice because if you had some nice boots, which you have some nice boots, you're not having to go 1st gear, you're not going underneath 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, right? And then boom, and back down, and neutral. So the whole idea is you don't have to go up and get underneath it.
Okay.
But it's nice. I would, right now, when you start riding it, ride the normal way you do first and everything else, but when you get a chance to play with it when you're riding. Harman Kardon stereo system. CD player. So you have your volume over here. Okay.
And you gotta ask the lady.
And if you press it in, there's your bass. Of course, up and down to do what you want. Press it in, treble. Press it in against your display. And back to your volume. People love these bikes because they're great for touring. And everybody comes here, goes to the Keys. So that's the greatest thing we have to offer is coming down to Florida and shooting to the Keys. So I think you guys will have a great ride today. And I'm jealous. I'd love to get out there and sneak out there and ride with y'all, but have a great day for sure. I'm going to start her up and we're going to ride her out of here.
Okay.
You need to get your helmet. You have to do a spin around the parking lot for me.
Okay.
To show that that's all part of the test. I did that the other day. I caught the bike. Oh, that was good. Yeah, it's not a hydraulic clutch. It's a little different.
How's he doing?
Great.
Doing great.
I'm sure you get some people here that they come to the turn and they kind
I
of...
have people that scare me sometimes. All right. Guys, have a great day.
Okay, now it's time to hear firsthand from Dwayne of what he thinks. This is the bike that he's been riding. This is Dwayne. Dwayne, you're a Goldwing rider. How many miles have you put on your current Goldwing?
About 50,000.
And what year is that?
It's a 1995.
What's the longest you've ever ridden at one clip?
About 1,000 miles in one day.
Okay. Have you ever ridden this style Harley before, an electric glide?
Never ridden this style, and I've only probably spent an hour before on a Harley Davidson.
Okay, but today you had an opportunity. You got to do a little bit in the parking lot, a little bit on the back road, but the majority on the highway. Since you mainly use your Goldwing for highway riding, how would you compare the electric glide on the highway, say cruising at 70 miles an hour, versus the Goldwing at the same speed?
The Goldwing's a little more streamlined, a little more aerodynamic. I think it's a little bit easier if you're going to do a long ride. I think you get a lot less tired on a Goldwing than this bike. You feel the wind a little bit more. I think for a long distance ride, I'd prefer Goldwing over this particular bike.
Okay, let's talk about the seating position. What do you think of the seating position of the electric glide?
Okay, I'm short. On this particular bike, I have a little trouble getting my feet flat on the ground, so when I come to a stop, I don't have a great sense of security, just not very stable. And I also found that I was having a little difficulty getting the kickstand up and down on this bike.
Okay, now, when you say that you can't reach the ground on this bike, on the Goldwing, are you closer to the ground?
The seat height is lower to the ground, and I can get my feet just about flat on the ground on the Goldwing.
Okay, so the seating position overall, let's say we take that out of the equation. You have the feet on the floorboards, you have the large brake pedal, and the fairing. How did it feel behind the fairing?
Again, not as big of a fairing as I'm accustomed to, so I was getting a lot of wind on my shoulders and wind on my legs on this bike, which I'm not really accustomed to.
Okay, a lot of people talk vibration. What did you experience on this bike?
Okay. At a stop, there's quite a bit of vibrations. The typical Harley Davidson, where you see the mirrors moving and the handlebars moving, and a lot of your hand is going to shake as well when you're at a stop. But once you get going, there's a lot of power, and it's very smooth once you're on the road and you're moving.
Okay, now this does have a 6th gear in this. How did it feel 6th gear, 70 miles an hour?
Smooth as silk. You get into 6th gear, the RPMs drop down to about 2,500 RPMs at 70 miles per hour. Plenty of extra power if you need to goose it a little bit to get going, but very nice once you're up and running.
Okay, how about buffeting? Did you experience anything? The windshield?
A little bit, and the windshield was buffering, and as I would try to see through the windshield, it was going to distort some of my vision because of the windshield movement.
How about the mirrors? How did they look?
Mirrors were fine. Didn't notice, once I'm moving, didn't notice any vibration in the mirrors at all.
Okay, you've now spent a few hours on this bike. You've spent years on your Goldwing. Would you ever consider a purchase of a bike like this?
I think I would consider a bike like this, but I think more for short trips and maybe around town type of riding. I think for a long day, 300, 400, 500, 600 mile ride, I would still stay with a bigger touring bike than this.
How would you compare the slow speed handling, the limited time that you spent on this bike, versus the slow speed handling on the Goldwing?
I found them very similar. This bike seems to handle very well at slow speeds, didn't have any problems with that at all.
Are there any other features that you notice on this bike that stand out that you wish your Goldwing had?
Not really. And I'm not just trying to be biased because I like my Goldwings, but I found it, again, just not used to it, but a little confusing with the turn signals being on each handlebar. And the one thing I was not really happy about is I don't like to have to really take my hand at all off the throttle when I'm driving. Even to take my thumb and drop it down felt a little odd to me. I'm used to using my left hand to do all the turn signals.
Okay, here's a big question for you. You're used to driving a 6-cylinder bike. This is a V-twin. What do you think?
Again, slow speeds, a lot of vibration when you're at a stop. But once you get going, I felt there was plenty of power and it was very, very smooth. At slow speeds, off a stop, from 0 to about 40, 50 miles an hour, much more torque with a bike like this, a lot more acceleration, a lot more good feeling of power.
Now it's time for part 2 of this test. Dwayne's going to take my Victory Vision, he's going to put it through the paces, and in a moment, we're going to hear his review comparing the Vision to the Goldwing as well as to the Harley Electric Glide.